So the Elimination Chamber is the next pay-per-view, and it's one of my favorite pay-per-views for the simple fact that we get the Chamber match. It's the only time of the year where we get the Elimination Chamber, and since I'm a big fan of the Chamber, I like the pay-per-view. So, we're going to find out who's going to go ahead and challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. We already know Shinsuke Nakamura on the SmackDown side of things. He's going to challenge AJ Styles, but who's going to challenge Brock Lesnar? So in the comments section, before I even get to this big spoiler, notice I put big in quotation marks, did that for a reason. I want you guys to let me know in the comments section who you think is going to win. Not who you'd like to see win, but who you think is going to win. There's a big difference there. For instance, you might want to see Elias win. But do you really think Elias is going to win? So let me know who you see actually winning the match realistically. Alright, you typed in the comments. Here's a spoiler alert, which you should know. Roman Reigns is winning this, and it sucks that it's so obvious. It's been obvious for the longest period of time, not necessarily that Roman is going to win the Elimination Chamber, but that he was going to go ahead and somehow get the Universal Championship match against Brock Lesnar. If you ask me, it's been obvious since Goldberg was Universal Champion, or maybe even before that. When they first had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at Mania 31, and we didn't get a proper conclusion. Seth Rollins interrupted Cash in Money in the Bank. A lot of people were happy, myself included. We didn't get to see, I guess, who was the superior superstar between Brock and Roman, even though Brock Lesnar hit Roman with an F5 right before Seth Rollins cashed in. But for whatever reason, whenever you see the highlight packages, you always see Roman Reigns spearing Brock Lesnar and then Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank, when that's not what happened. But anyways, it was clear that they were going to have a rematch at some point, so we would finally see who is the superior competitor between the two, aka see Roman Reigns spear Brock Lesnar and take the title from him, stop the beast. So, Brock's been unstoppable, you know, in his championship reign. He's beaten everybody, he's beaten all these monsters. You notice that he's beaten Braun Strowman, which one of the reasons why I made this video is because I saw somebody reply to a tweet from the WWE. It was a tweet about the Chamber, and somebody replied saying Braun Strowman is obviously the favorite for the Elimination Chamber match. No, Braun Strowman is not the favorite. Braun versus Brock already happened. They already had it at, I think it was Great Balls of Fire, right? They already had that match, and Brock beat Braun Strowman clean. He already beat him one-on-one, he pinned him, and then afterwards, Braun Strowman got another opportunity in the Fatal 5-Way match, where he lost again, and then he got another opportunity recently in the Triple Threat, where he lost again. Yeah, he didn't get pinned by Brock Lesnar, but he was still unsuccessful, and yes, he did get pinned in the first match, the one-on-one match that they actually had. So why would they have another match at Mania? Brock's already defended the title against him 3 times. He's actually defended the title against Braun Strowman more than anybody else, and the one-on-one match that they had was pretty disappointing. So aside from kayfabe reasons, aside from Braun Strowman being this big dude who, you know, dominates everybody and, you know, throws everybody around, Braun's not winning this. And yes, I like Braun Strowman, but he's gonna get eliminated just like everybody else aside from Roman in this match. What's likely gonna happen for Braun Strowman, because I know some people are gonna argue this or bring this up, I'm sure some people are going to be like, hey, well, who's going to eliminate Braun? How are they going to go ahead and keep Braun looking strong if he loses once again? It's simple, and this is most likely what's going to happen. They're likely going to have everybody else hit their finishers on Braun Strowman. That's what they did in the past for John Cena, for instance, in the Elimination Chamber, back when it was really rare to see somebody beat John Cena. When he was in one of the Chamber matches, they had Rey Mysterio hit him with a 619, they had Jericho hit him with a Codebreaker, and Edge hit him with a Spear, all those finishers just to take John Cena out of the Elimination Chamber, while still, you know, having him look strong in the process of getting eliminated. So that's likely what we're going to see here. Probably an attitude adjustment, which nowadays does nothing. John Cena's finisher nowadays is pretty much multiple attitude adjustments, because the first one never does anything. Everybody kicks out now of the attitude adjustment. So Cena's finisher now is pretty much the attitude adjustment from the top rope or second rope, or more than one attitude adjustment. So yeah, it's likely going to be an attitude adjustment into a spear, into a curb stop, into a coup de grace to eliminate Braun, but at some point he will be eliminated. He's not winning this. And then I've also talked to somebody who's a big Finn fan, and he's pretty confident that Finn is going to win. Hey, I'd like to see Finn win this. Actually, if you guys ask me who I'd like to see, not who I think is going to win this, I would say Finn. And I actually wanted to see Finn win the Rumble instead of Shinsuke Nakamura, because what I wanted to see is Finn Balor go ahead and move to SmackDown and challenge AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. So then you have two former club members, facing off at Mania for the title. They already had a great match at TLC, and I'm sure they would have had an even better match at Mania for the championship. And it'd make for an interesting storyline, like I said, both former club members, and they could somehow find a way to involve Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, make up some excuse to get them to SmackDown, and involve them in this story where they've got to pick a side. Who are they gonna go ahead and choose, AJ Styles or Finn? I think it'd make for, an interesting storyline and a great match. But enough with the fantasy booking, let's get back to the most predictable Elimination Chamber in the history of the Elimination Chambers, this upcoming one, the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber match. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong by the way, I'm saying this is predictable, but I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad match. I'm sure it's going to be a great match actually. First ever 7-man Elimination Chamber, it's going to start with a triple threat match instead of the usual one-on-one. And the combination of superstars in there, I'm sure they're going to come up with something great. It's just, I think it'd be even greater if we didn't know the outcome, if it wasn't as obvious, if we had maybe 2 or 3 superstars that could potentially win it. That, there could be multiple scenarios we could see happening at Mania, and not one that we've seen coming for over a year now. And here's the thing with this being the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber, and also, I want to link this to something else. I want to go back for a second to when I was talking about how Brock Lesnar went over all these, big dudes, all these beasts, these monsters. If you notice, his entire championship run consisted of him just taking on the biggest dudes on Raw. He didn't take on, Seth Rollins or Finn Balor or anything like that. He took on the biggest guys. They had him beat Samoa Joe, they had him beat Braun Strowman, they had him beat Kane, they had him also beat Roman Reigns, but not in a one-on-one situation. They had him beat Roman Reigns in a multi-man match though. But I was surprised though that they did do that. So I think the reason why they fed Brock Lesnar all these, big strong dudes and also made this a 7-man Elimination Chamber is, at the end of the day, to make Roman Reigns look stronger, to make his accomplishment even bigger. So this way, when he wins the Elimination Chamber, they're going to go ahead and bring it up whenever you see Roman Reigns. They're going to be like, hey, it's Roman Reigns, the big dog, or whatever he's in another Elimination Chamber match, in the years to come. They're going to be like, hey, fun fact, Roman Reigns is the only man to win a 7-man Elimination Chamber, or he's the first man to win a 7-man Elimination Chamber, or something along those lines. Kind of like when Del Rio won the 40-man Royal Rumble match. They always brought that up. They would always be like, Del Rio was the first man to win a 40-man Royal Rumble match. I think it's going to be the same thing with Roman. They're going to go ahead and bring up the fact that Roman was the first man to win a 7-man Elimination Chamber over and over and over again. Because that way, his chamber win is even bigger because he outlasted 6 other guys instead of the usual 5. And then when it comes time for Mania, when he beats Brock Lesnar, that's when Brock going over all these other monsters and being the first person to beat The Undertaker, end the streak. That's when that all comes to play, because that makes Roman Reigns' win over Brock Lesnar that much bigger, that much more impressive, because they can be like, hey, Brock was destroying everybody, but Roman Reigns stopped them, not even Braun, Samoa Joe, Kane, Taker, they couldn't stop Brock Lesnar, but Roman Reigns was able to do it. Now, there's always that slight chance that the obvious doesn't end up happening. In this case, I'd say maybe there's less than a 5% chance that anybody but Roman, wins. But if Roman doesn't win, then I think it'd be Finn. Finn won the Universal Championship, but yet never got a rematch. And even though there's a big difference when it comes to size between Bork and Finn, I still think it'd be an interesting feud, and once again, they can involve the club in this, and maybe the club helps out Finn against the Beast because of the huge size difference. Winner aside though, I'm looking forward to the actual match. I'm happy with the competitors in there, really happy that Elias actually made it in. I'm a fan of Elias, and I hope he does well in the chamber. Not only did he make it in, but he also beat John Cena to be the last entrant in the actual match. Hopefully, he has a good performance. Hopefully, he actually eliminates at least one person. I'm thinking, here's the thing with Elias, I don't think he's going to eliminate a bunch of people, but it'd be nice to have him eliminate maybe, one superstar out of the 6 other superstars in there. And hopefully, he somehow manages to sneak in that guitar in there. And as far as Braun Strowman goes, looking forward to seeing what he does. I'm sure he's going to destroy something. And the most obvious thing, obviously, in the chamber is the pod. See, initially I would have said that he probably ends up breaking the Miz's pod, but seeing as how the Miz is going to start off the match, he's not going to be in a pod, I think we might just see Braun Strowman break Elias's pod and bring him out there before it's time for Elias to get in the match. Or maybe after Roman wins, they evacuate all the fans so Braun Strowman can go ahead and flip over the entire Elimination Chamber structure in frustration that Roman won and because he's just not finished with him yet. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button down below. And with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.